They had us line up, and this fellow went down the line. He pointed at my watch. He took my watch. Pointed at my ring. He took my ring. He pointed at my mess kit. He took that. And this is the way it went. And then they started us marching down the highway in groups of about 300 approximately. And as we marched about a mile down the road, we came across a part of the road where there were some guns, artillery, Japanese artillery. And they actually pointed at Corregidor. And I knew immediately what was going on. They were using us for a shield. The prisoners were strung along the highway there. So they opened up on Corregidor, these 155s. And not thinking that Corregidor would fire back. And about 3 or 4 minutes, the mortar shells were coming right over us. And, well, we all panicked and started running down the highway, which probably was the worst thing we could have done. But that was the beginning of the march. And as I walked down the highway, I picked up another canteen, I picked up a blanket, and I picked up all the things that the Japanese soldier had taken away from me. So I was in pretty good shape there. As we walked along, one of the problems was, of course, that we'd been on 2 meals a day in Bataan, rice and fish, and very little of that. So as we marched along, the fellows were really in pretty bad shape. They couldn't walk very far. They never fed us, never gave us water. The Filipinos tried to help us. They would run alongside, throw food at us and so forth, try to give us water. The Japanese guards shot at them, so of course that ended that. And as we walked along, pretty soon some of the fellows couldn't make it. Started falling back. I helped this one man, and pretty soon I could barely make it myself. And as they fell, I noticed that this guard cocked his rifle and shot him. And of course that really made everybody move a little faster. And the next fellow, instead of shooting them, they bayoneted him. And as we went along, this was just a routine matter. And it took us about 5 days to walk the 65 miles and to a town called San Fernando. And this is where the train came into San Fernando. And in the Philippines, they have narrow gauge railroads. So the rails are much narrower than ours, and the boxcars are much smaller. So they load us up in the boxcars, and we were packed like sardines. The heat was terrible, and one of the fellows died standing up. He couldn't fall down. And we went about 80 miles north to a town called Capas. We got off the train there. We were fortunate it was only 80 miles. And then we walked 6 miles to Campo Down. Well, I had never seen anything like that. There were bodies along the barracks. The stench was terrible, absolutely terrible. And I said to myself, I'm going to die if I stay here. And I stayed in O'Donnell about 2 or 3 weeks. And then I volunteered for a work detail. The Japanese wanted prisoners to work. So they put me in a truck, took me right back to Bataan.